Here's a long, engaging, emotional story based on the title from the video link you shared, crafted for a 15-minute YouTube narrative, with a powerful opening hook, emotional depth, realistic challenges, and a strong, inspiring message at the end. The moment she saw him collapse, everything in her life stopped. It wasn't supposed to be her day. Not really. Maria Delgado had already woken up at 5 a.m., juggling 2 jobs so she could keep a roof over her head and food on the table for her 8-year-old daughter, Lily. One job as a cleaner at the local hospital, the other as a barista at a cafe that barely paid minimum wage. Her hands were calloused, her shoes were worn, and still, somehow, she carried a smile for Lily every morning, because love was the one thing she could give without running out. That morning, Maria was walking home after finishing at the cafe, her heart heavy from an argument with her landlord about overdue rent, when she noticed a crowd gathering at the corner of Main and 5th. People were whispering, phones out, buzzing like angry bees. Curious, Maria stepped closer, and in the middle of all the commotion was a man in a tailored suit, lying face up on the concrete, his breath shallow, his face pale as winter frost. Instinct hit before fear did. "Someone call an ambulance," Maria shouted, her voice slicing through the crowd's stunned silence. No one moved. They watched. They took videos. But no one stepped closer. Maria didn't wait. She knelt beside him, gingerly checking for a pulse. It was faint, too faint. Her heart pounded so loud she feared he might hear it. Despite everything in her life that felt like it was falling apart, this moment became the only thing that mattered. She pushed her trembling hands to his chest and began CPR, each push a prayer, each breath a plea. The crowd's whispers faded. All she could hear was the rhythm of her own heartbeat and the echo of a promise she made to Lily long ago: "When it matters, be brave." Minutes passed like hours, and just when Maria's strength betrayed her, the man gasped, a sharp, rattling breath that felt to Maria like the sound of sunrise breaking through the longest night. He was alive. The paramedics hurried him away, and Maria, exhausted and shaken, watched as they closed the ambulance doors. A few people thanked her, some offered applause, but most just went back to their phones, already posting videos. Maria didn't stick around. She walked home in silence, the cold wind biting through her thin jacket, her thoughts heavy not with pride, but worry. Rent still due. Lily expecting dinner when she walked through that door. A life that felt too heavy for shoulders this small. A few days later, Maria got a message on her phone she didn't recognize. It was from a number she didn't know. "Can we talk? D." Her heart sank and soared at the same time. Was it the man she saved? Why would he contact her? Why would anyone important want to talk to her? They met in a quiet park, under a tall oak tree with leaves just starting to turn gold. Maria arrived early, holding her worn tote bag tight, her nerves brewing like a storm inside her chest. Then she saw him, the man from the street, now upright, impeccably dressed, but with eyes that held something softer, something more human than the power suit he wore. "Maria Delgado?" he asked gently. She nodded. "I'm Daniel Reed," he said. "You saved my life." There was no grand gesture. No wealth flaunted. Just gratitude, raw and sincere, the kind that shakes you. Over coffee, he told her his story. CEO of a successful startup. Pressures she couldn't imagine. A heart weakened by years of stress and loneliness. He had been rushing to a meeting when his heart gave out. And if it weren't for Maria, he wouldn't be sitting there. Maria shared her own story. A single mom trying to keep life together after her husband died 2 years ago. The exhaustion that clung to her like a shadow. The dreams she packed away because they seemed too heavy to carry. They laughed. They shared fears. And when the conversation ended, Daniel asked something Maria never expected. "Can I help you?" She laughed, an instinctive, honest laugh, because she knew what he meant. He meant financially. But Maria wasn't someone who took handouts. She had pride, even if life nudged her hard against the ground. "I don't need charity," she said. "I just need a chance." And Daniel surprised her, not with a check, but with an offer she didn't see coming. "Start a community program with me. For single parents like you, people with talent and heart, but no resources. I'll fund it. You run it." Maria stared at him, bewildered, overwhelmed, hopeful, all at once. The road wasn't easy. There were meetings that made Maria want to run back to the cafe and hide. Skeptics who whispered, "What does a barista know about running programs?" Nights she cried into Lily's hair, feeling unworthy, thinking maybe she was just lucky, not capable. But every time she felt doubt, She remembered that man gasping on the concrete, and how she didn't think twice before acting. She remembered Lily's face. She remembered the way courage felt when it wasn't easy. Months later, the program opened. A community center with job training, childcare services, financial counseling, everything Maria wished she'd had when she needed help most. Parents walked through the doors with tired hope, just like she once did. And Daniel, he was there, not as a boss, not as a billionaire, but as someone who saw her strength before she saw it in herself. One evening, after a long day of planning and sharing stories and watching breakthroughs happen, Daniel approached Maria as the center closed. "You changed more lives today than I thought possible," he said. Maria looked at him, her eyes shining with something deeper than gratitude. "We changed them," she corrected. He nodded, and in that quiet moment, with the sun dipping below the horizon, Maria realized something profound: she wasn't small. She wasn't invisible. She was someone who acted when others watched, who loved when others doubted, who fought when the world expected her to fold. Lily, watching from the playground as her mom helped others, whispered to her friend one day, "That's my mom, she saved someone's life, and she's helping lots of people now." And Maria's heart swelled, not because others finally saw her, but because she finally saw herself. She was brave, she was powerful, and she proved that the greatest hero in someone's life can be the person who never thought she was one. If you'd like, I can tailor this further to a voiceover script, add cues for visuals, or structure it into timed segments for your 15-minute video.